Have you ever watched the movie that is just so weird and stupid that after you finish watching it, you have 17 pages of notes dissecting the plot, themes, and characters? Or is that just me? You might be like, Caleb, this seems like a big waste of our time. Are you about to review a dog movie that came out in 1976? And the answer to that might surprise you. The movie that I am here to share with you today is the movie that I love so very much, and it is called The Shaggy Die. This movie is actually called The Shaggy DA. DA meaning District Attorney. You might be like me, and that which means you're stupid, meaning you might not know what a district attorney is. And if I'm being completely honest with you, I still don't know what a district attorney is. Cue all the comments telling me what a district attorney is. But The Shaggy Dot is the movie that follows a man. His name is Wilby Daniels. He is running for district attorney because the current district attorney, he is a very corrupt guy. He's abusing his power and he's just not very good. Wilby is gonna run against this man, but also he has this condition where at any given moment in the movie, he just shapeshifts into a dog. Yeah, I know, right? So now is the point where you can either stop this video and go watch The Shaggy Die and then meet me back here, or we can just go on this journey together and I will show it to you with all of my unnecessary commentary that's gonna go on for so long that nobody cares about. Let's just jump into it. So this movie opens up and we see these two movers and they're like moving the stuff into the truck because they're movers, but actually turns out they're not movers. I know, that was the big plot twist to me. I was really shocked. After we see these two robbers stealing stuff from some random family's house, we are introduced to our main cast of characters. We have our main man who I mentioned earlier. His name is Wilby Daniels. If I were to try and describe Wilby to you, I would describe him as like a lawyer type guy, very proper, only seemingly talks in like complete sentences, no slang here, no personality here. It makes him a really exciting character.
And my first official act will be to call a grand jury investigation into your criminal connections in this town. If that's all we have to talk about, I guess our discussion is closed.
He sucks a lot. I hate him. I think I would, in fact, choke out Wilby Daniels, but that's a conversation for another time. The next character is his wife, and I really don't remember her name. I don't think I wrote it down, but I swear to God, it's literally like Betty or something. I mean, if you're watching this and your name is Betty, I mean, I love you, girl, but like, what? The wife character is weird because not only can this woman not act, and I'm pretty sure that she is dead, so like, so sorry, girl, but the character is very strange because she's like very weird and smiley and like almost like kind of voguey. Voguey? Is voguey a word? Siri, is voguey a word?
Here's what I found.
That's not the freaking word I just said. It's probably not a word because Google don't freaking know it. She's very voguey, which is not a word.
Now what am I supposed to do?
Just sit there. We're almost home. Don't forget to kiss the baby. That's a good vote getter, you know?
Brian, where's your father?
He had to go.
But I guess I just get the idea that she's trapped in a loveless marriage. And then the final member of the family, his name is Brian, which I'm just gonna call him the son because who got time? There is something also very strange about this child's performance. Not to like roast a kid, but like he freaking sucks in this movie. No, I'm sorry, Brian. If you want to collab, hit me up. The weird thing about this kid's performance is that for some reason, whenever he speaks, it doesn't seem like it was ever in the script.
Atta way to go, Pop. Last year, Red 10 wouldn't give up. You're acting like Sarah Bernhardt starring in Housekeeping Can Be Fun.
It kind of just feels like some random person on set brought their kid and then was like, why don't we put Brian in the movie? And then this kid just like walked out and just said whatever came to his mind and then they just put it in the movie.
Pop, bet you a quarter you don't know how many eyes a fly has.
You're right, I don't. I'm a lawyer, not an entomologist.
Just guess.
2.
Wrong. They have thousands of six-sided passes, each and on itself. You owe me a quarter.
Whenever this family interacts, instead of it coming across as like a genuine family bond and they've known each other and they love each other, it just comes across as if like these are aliens that are like just like don't understand sentence structure. And I kind of feel like I might get a comment that's saying like, well, actually in the 70s we all talked like that. And I mean, like, that's fair, but also no, the frick you didn't. When they come home, they discover that they've been robbed. They convey this pretty subtly in the dialogue.
We've been robbed.
Just in case you thought they were messy minimalists or something. Wilby calls the police and he says like, yo, my house just got robbed. And the police officer, who I think might be my favorite character just because like I relate to him so hard, he straight up is just like, you know what? We got like at least 3 other people who are also on the line right now. They're maybe being murdered, so why don't you just call me back in a little bit when we're not so busy?
House has been robbed. I'm working one call now and there's 2 on hold. Can you call back when we're not so busy?
Call back! My house has been robbed!
So instead of understanding that the police are maybe busy and like he really has nothing to lose at this point because again, everything he owns is gone. Like they straight up took everything besides like a couple of like pieces of like paper and like garbage. This movie is so wild to me because this is a kid's movie and it has dialogue like this.
If I were district attorney, I would prosecute every indicted criminal to the fullest extent of the law, and I would get convictions.
Like, I'm almost 20 years old, and I don't even know if I could tell you what this man just said. Like a normal family, after Wilby screams at the police officer on the phone, his wife and child burst into the room and just start applauding. Like, this is peak alien behavior. I don't even care what y'all say. Am I nitpicking? Abso-freaking-lutely. But, like, who claps during that? Because everything in their house got robbed, they go back to their house and they, like, sleep, like, on this, like, cold floor. And they have, like, a fur coat over themselves. These robbers took they took all the pillows and blankets. They made sure not to forget a single thing besides that jacket, coincidentally, right? So while they're sleeping, somebody like breaks into the house, but this time they steal like a shirt and like the jacket that they're sleeping with.
They've stripped us right down to the bone.
I don't know if that was supposed to be a dog pun, but I can't help but feel like it is. They're just having such a rough day. Rough day, you know what I'm saying? So Wilby does what any rational person would do after they get robbed a second time, and he runs over to his neighbor's house. He calls the police.
This is Wilby Daniels, 152 Hadley Drive. My house has been robbed again.
They don't care. He says that the district attorney is corrupt, and then he announces that he is gonna run for district attorney, and then his family claps.
Remember that name. It's the name of your next district attorney.
Good girl!
Wait a second, this sounds a little bit familiar. Yeah, this movie opens up with the exact same scene, like literally back to back. Why did the robbers need to go back and steal that shirt? Was there really material gain in that? I feel like, like what? Anyways, after this tragedy, Wilby decides he is officially gonna go and run for DA. On one of his campaigns, his wife appears, who is his campaign manager, and she's like, oh, there's a baby over there, you gotta go kiss that baby. Which is like normal, I feel like, for a politician to kiss a baby, but
Nothing over 16, though. That's a good smack in the head getter.
if your husband kissed a 15-year-old girl, that's completely normal, that's completely fine. But like if she's 16, it's not okay. Maybe stay away from teenagers altogether. Maybe like only kiss small babies. So he goes over to kiss the baby, but the baby has like peanut butter and jelly on his face.
My, that's a beautiful child.
Hello.
And so then instead of just like skirting the baby, he like decides to kiss him anyways.
Oh, well, you see, Joey likes you. Let go, honey.
Rubs his peanut butter jelly on him. And then some woman comes and takes their picture at that exact moment. So after all this bullcrap, we are introduced to another one of our main characters. He is... I don't freaking remember his name, but he's like this ice cream man who lives in the neighborhood. He might actually be a pedophile because he has like a dog in his car. The dog's name is Elwood. I would die for Elwood in a lot of ways. We meet the ice cream man. He's pretty stupid, but he comes into play later, so here he is, I guess. These two random men are at the museum, and while they're at the museum, they're looking around, and the tour guide randomly explains that in this case, there's like this presumably magical ring that like turned people into dogs or something. And so they're like, wow, that's gotta be worth a lot of money. They decide that they are gonna steal this ring off screen. So now that the men have this ring under circumstances that I don't know, they go to like their crime lord or whatever, and they're like, look it, we got this cool magical ring. It's probably worth a lot of money because we stole it and it was in a museum and it's apparently magical. And then their crime boss is like, no, stupid, this is dumb, it's not worth anything. So they're like, wow, I guess we just stole this ring for no reason.
I told you there is no market for beetle rings. Get lost.
So these two men, they're feeling defeated. So they say, you know what? Let's try to sell this to somebody on the streets for a couple dollars or whatever. It's fine. And who do they run into? The ice cream man who we met earlier. They go up to him, they're like, yo, you want this freaking ring? So he has the ring now, right? Meanwhile, Wilby is officially going to announce his campaign, and it's going to be like broadcasted on TV or whatever. As Wilby is getting ready, he hears on the radio that this magical ring from the museum got stolen. And so this is the point in the movie where we are finally launched into Wilby's backstory, which... oh boy, here we freaking go.
When I was a teenager, I accidentally took an old ring from the Prescott Museum. There was a strange Latin inscription on it.
He says in his youth, he accidentally stole a magical ring, which sounds fake. I don't know how you accidentally steal a ring. I feel like he only said that because he doesn't want his wife to know he's a criminal. And then in the most serious way possible, he says,
I read the inscription a couple of times, and I turned into a dog.
Wilby, he's starting to get shook because he's like, oh no, if anybody reads that inscription, I'm gonna turn into a dog.
We let these little things nag at us when it's really nothing.
Do you realize if somebody reads that inscription, I could turn into a dog?
Guess what happens at that very moment?
In canis corpore transmuto. I wonder what that means.
As established, Wilby is about to turn into a dog.
No!
Like, it looks so awful. Like, it's straight up terrifying.
You look just like Elwood.
I am Elwood.
When the dog moves his mouth like that, it is like truly terrifying. I feel like they just put the camera on the dog and they just like waited for him to like vaguely open up his mouth in any way. Like they waited for him to like yawn or like bark or something just so they could take that small bit where he opens and closes his mouth and then just like play it over and over and again and like make it sound like he's talking. That happens a lot in this movie and it never looks quite right.
Elwood, how'd you learn how to talk? I started out with Gaga and worked my way up to Din Din.
But oh no, Wilby is supposed to go on TV and address the people. What is he gonna do? And he like runs out with his dog body, and then the camera crew who's just standing there in the house for some reason, they like fly back when the dog runs by, because that's exactly what a person does when a dog runs by. I guess what I don't understand is how come when the spell gets read, the ice cream man's dog, who's Elwood, why does that dog disappear? Where does that dog go? Does Wilby's like spirit go into the dog's body? Where did Wilby's body go? He like runs into like a dog house, and then there's this dog and his name is Brutus, punches him with his dog hands. This all happens off screen, but I just imagine that he's got his like uppercut. And it's like a dog. And so then unprompted, we don't know how this happened, but Wilby is now back to his normal self. So the spell is established that he's only going to be a dog for what seems like 10 to 15 minutes. So now our goal is to find this ring and make sure that nobody can ever steal it again, so we will never have to be a dog again. Wilby is continuing his campaign at like this older women's group. I think they're called the Daisies. Meanwhile, our ice cream man, who is currently in possession of this magical ring, he randomly out of nowhere decides, I don't want this ring anymore, and he decides to give it to his special lady friend, who I don't freaking remember her name, but maybe it's Debbie Ann. So he gives her the ring, and I wonder what she's gonna do when she gets the ring.
Hey, what's this writing in here mean?
I'm not sure.
Incano corpore transmuto.
It never really gets tiresome.
I'm not through yet.
Yes, you are, Elwood.
Is this dog threatening at all? No. Is he behaving poorly? No. Do they have any reason to be alarmed at all? No. But what do they do? I was kind of under the impression that like turning into a dog was maybe something you want to keep secret from everybody ever. But this dog is sitting in the ice cream truck and he's just belting out his beautiful dog songs to everybody who comes in the area.
Down by the old mill stream where I first met you.
While this dog is singing, another dog approaches. And this part made me really mad because the dog walks up to Wilby and he comments about the fact that he's singing, right?
Ever seen a dog sing before?
That's singing.
Growl, growl, ruff!
Are you telling me that this dog speaks English? Because I was under the impression that the only reason Wilby was speaking English was because he was a person, right? Does this dog speak English? Do all dogs speak English? Is this dog just happen to be fluent in English? Or is Wilby speaking dog to the dog? But then how would that dog know that he was singing? Why didn't Wilby talk to that dog from earlier who was attacking him? That dog's name was Brutus. Why didn't Wilby talk to Brutus? Why didn't he say, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to invade your space. I'm just a man in a dog's body. He didn't say anything. Was he just like really shy? Was that the time he decided to keep his dogness on the DL? Who is that dog gonna tell? He somehow finds out that the ice cream man gave it to this woman and they go together to get it from her. She tells them that she must have accidentally baked the ring into a pie.
Could have fallen into the mixing vat.
Because she like works at a place where they make friggin' pies, I don't know. And so then Wilby, he's very mad because who the frick does that? I thought the rational thing for the movie to do in this moment was to have our main cast of like 4 or 5 characters, like the family, the ice cream man, that woman. We're all gonna go together. We're gonna like check the pies, maybe like cut off the top layer of crust, kind of dig around with like gloves. Nope, next, and then you can easily fix them, right? And you can still have the event. Everything's fine. Right? But no. I freaking hate it. Are they even looking for the ring? Like, nobody is even, like, digging through any of the pies. They're just throwing them. Guess who decided to show up? Those 2 men from earlier, those 2 thugs that had nothing to do with anything that stole the ring in the first place. They randomly appear in the back alley. One of the pies accidentally gets thrown out the window and it hits the man in the face. And guess what, everybody? The ring was in that pie. This ring is back in the hands of these thugs who started out with the ring in the first place, right? So what are these thugs gonna do, right? It was already established that the thug lord king man doesn't want it. So what are these men gonna do? Oh yeah, they're gonna sell it. They're gonna sell it to this random man that they see. And turns out that that man is a cop. And then the cop takes the ring. And then the cop gives the ring to the police department. And then somehow the ring ends up in the hands of the DA. The DA. Now, you might be like, Caleb, why are you so pressed about this? And honestly, I don't know. When you think about it, right? These robbers steal the ring from a museum and sell it to an ice cream man who gives it to a woman who bakes it into a pie, who throws the ring out the window back to the original thugs who had it in the first place, who then sell it to a cop who brings the ring to the police department who gives it to the district attorney. The DA, if you will. We could have had it at the beginning where Wilby, our main man, is in possession of the ring, right? He had it when he was a teenager because he accidentally stole it, which is freaking bullcrap. But he has it stored away in his house. But then guess what? His house gets robbed. So these robbers steal the ring, and it's later on revealed that the DA is responsible for the robbery. That would mean that it would be so easy for the DA to get a hold of the ring in the first place. That would have saved us like 25 minutes of this movie. So our main man Wilby now, for some freaking reason, goes to the police station, and guess what the frick happens?
In canis corpore transmuto.
What's it all mean?
It's a
There goes Pop again.
into a dog's body.
Wilby, no.
Wow, I am so surprised. But also, it's just so tiresome at this point. Like, the first time he turns into a dog, it's like, hell yeah. But then the second time, it's like, okay. And then, like, the third time, it's like, I got, like, dog fatigue, you know what I mean? Anyways, it's time for the next scene. I wonder what's gonna happen.
Canis corpore transmuto. Canis corpore transmuto.
This is when we are first introduced, or at least we get a better look at, our main villain character. His name is Slade. He is the DA. He is in charge of whatever the DAs do in the world. This man is a pretty good actor. I think he really sells his performance. He's just so incredible. I think he deserved Best Supporting Actor for this film. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for my favorite scene.
Raymond, this dog has no license and is clearly in violation of the leash law. Call the pound.
I already did, sir. The truck is waiting outside.
Out of my way!
He straight up punches that person in the face. I don't know why, but I felt that, like, when he made contact with his little paw, I felt that on my face. Oh boy, ouch, ouchie. Like, I wish that was my job. Like, if I could major in dressing up in a full dog outfit and punching a man in the face, I would.
Excuse me, ma'am! Watch out!
And if you're thinking that this can't get any more ridiculous, I have some news to give to you. I just think, like, some man showed up to work that day and he just put on that dog outfit and he just jumped out that freaking window. He really is OP in many ways. Like, he's just popping off and, like, doing all this stuff. It is kind of like an Avengers movie the more that I think about it.
To bring together a group of remarkable people. So when we needed them, they could fight the battles that we never could.
When a robber steals everything you own.
Can you call back when we're not so busy?
But when there's a dog without a leash. Wilby sneaks into, like, this skating competition. The only reason I mention it is because of this.
Pardon me, miss. Here she comes.
That's just important to me. The dog is driving the car for some reason. I don't know how his body would allow him to do that, but okay. And so this ice cream man is in the back, and Wilby instructs him to throw ice cream at the police. It's like so freaking crazy, like how quickly this movie escalated. Like the Shaggy dog now has a confirmed kill. This dog is driving this ice cream truck and he does not care at all. He's crashing into like signs. He like off-roads at one point. He's like driving in the woods because he is in fact a bad boy. And like at one point they're like hanging off the side of a cliff. And so at that moment Wilby decides, you know what? I think it's time to just get out of here, you know what I'm saying? As Wilby is walking away, he's still wearing his skater outfit, and like he just looks so thick in those pants when he walks away. It's truly spectacular.
I've got a better chance on Paul.
Just in case you forgot, he was a dog. So after Wilby runs away into the woods, we have a scene where Slade, the duh, gets a call that says, we have the dog, he's surrounded, right? So what I was expecting there to be that tiresome scene where the cops are surrounded around the ice cream truck, and then that stupid ice cream man walks out and he's like, the dog left. But instead,
Stand by.
how did he get up there? Like, he's a dog. Did he climb up the tree with his dog body? Did he like try to jump over it and then he got stuck? Or did the cops get near him and then he like tried to hide up there? I don't know. At what point did the dog take off his skater outfit? We have a scene which I've never seen in any movie ever where they're gonna tranquilize the dog, but then they accidentally shoot the wrong person. And then Slade falls asleep. That is so clever.
Very sorry, sir. Quite accidental. Really it was.
I don't know why that man talks like he's Yoda. In the next scene, we open up and Wilby is in jail. The other dogs that are there, they like talk to him, and when they move their mouths, it's even more terrifying than it was when Wilby opened his mouth.
Welcome to One-Way Row, pal.
One-way row. Where is this?
Curly, my boy, it's the slammer.
For that one dog, I feel like he just would not open his mouth, and they just did not give them a lot to work with, so they're just like, I swear to God, if you don't yawn right now. These dogs tell Wilby that he's gonna stay in dog jail for 3 days before they kill his little dog self. Then, one of these dogs who is in this jail cell, he begins to sing his somber song.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.
Oh, it's for him. He goes next.
He really do got pipes though. I would expect all these like goofy looking dogs to have like kind of fun voices, but for some reason all these dogs, they're talking super proper. And like they're like, some of them have like British accents for some reason. And it's like, why are you talking like that? Unless these dogs are actually other politicians. It's at this point where I began to, again, question the logic of a dog movie from 1976. Why is it only Wilby who is transforming into a dog repeatedly? Because he said that like, oh, back when I was a kid, I read this ring and I turned into a dog, right? So that makes sense. But other people in this movie have read the inscription and they haven't turned into a dog at all. So does that mean it's only going to be Wilby until Wilby dies? And then whoever the next person to read the inscription, they will inherit the magical contrived ring abilities and they will become a dog? Like, at what point does this magical dog curse find another host? Why is it always Wilby? Who frickin' knows? And who frickin' cares? What the frick? These dogs decide we're gonna do what dogs do best. We're digging our way out of here.
Now, we're busting out of here, Curly. Are you with us or not?
I can't do that. I'm running for district attorney.
As if he is gonna lose the election because when he was a dog, he escaped from jail. Slade calls the kill shelter and he's like, yo, I want you to kill that big fluffy dog. And so this man's plan is literally, I'm gonna turn this man magically into a dog, and then I'm going to bring this said man into a dog shelter where they will murder him. And this is a kid's movie about a dog. I guess in my head, I think that they left this scene in because they're like, look at this dog. He's like reluctant to get murdered or whatever. But I actually think it's just because the dog is just stupid and he doesn't know how doors work. Once Wilby is taken away to his death, we get a beautiful scene.
Swing low, sweet chariot.
Poor guy. He didn't last long.
If I was a dog in that jail cell and for the second frickin' time this dog is singing Swing Low, I would be over it. Like, really, dude, sing any other song. Do you not know any other song? The guard like flips the giant switch and there's like a surge of electricity, and I guess I don't know how dogs get killed in kill shelters. I don't want to look it up. I guess I kind of have just assumed that they maybe like inject them, like just like a lethal injection or something, but like why is it like an electric chair? Anyways, it's time for Wilby's big escape.
Oh, no, you don't. Sit. Stay. Okay, I'm with you guys. We're breaking out of here.
Where did his change of heart come from? Because literally in the scene earlier, he said, I can't do that. I'm running for district attorney. What does that have to do with anything? I don't know. But did it happen while he was in the death chamber? Maybe the somber songs of Stan the dog really changed his mind as he walked his way to the death chamber.
Come on, gorgeous. Big boy.
He called her gorgeous, and she called him big boy.
Big boy.
I guess I'm very upset by this because does this man not have a wife who is at home worried about him? Now he's flirting with another poodle? And the dogs escape and they drive their way out of the jail in a pedophile van. Let's freaking do it. And now it is time for Wilby to say goodbye to his dear friends who have helped him on this journey. But for some reason he just like walks away.
So long, gang. You got a better chance without me.
Thanks, Curly. We won't forget what you done for us, eh?
Wilby is trying to get back to his house, and he walks through his neighbor's garden and like is like sneaking through the flowers or whatever. The neighbor acts, I think, as most people would probably act upon seeing a dog in their yard.
Heave to, or I'll fire!
So Wilby finally finds his way back home and he's reunited with his family. It's really boring. But then guess what? The police showed up.
There's a van! Looks like the SWAT team!
I gotta get out of here.
Under what charges? Because the more I think about it, the more I'm starting to get a little bit confused. Like, what are they gonna say when they show up to this door? Like, there's a dog that we need to get. And they're like, why? Because earlier in the movie, he didn't have a leash. Wilby knows that the police are here for him, so he decides he's gonna put on a disguise because I feel like if you put a trench coat on a dog, you don't know it's a dog anymore, right?
I'm on my way. Goodbye, honey.
Good luck.
Hurry, Papa's here!
He like whipped his snoot around so quick when they hear them coming. This is the point in the film where Wilby decides to catch this ice cream man up on all the information that the audience may have forgotten.
Not many years ago, when I was still a kid.
Just in case you weren't paying attention, or just in case the movie didn't do a good enough job conveying these ideas to you.
So Slade got hold of the reins, see? Now he's trying to win this race by elimination.
The ice cream man and Wilby have decided that they need to sneak away to this weird bunker or like this weird garage where Slade is. They decide that they need to get on a bike. If I was walking down the street and I saw that, I don't know if I would just brush that off and let it go by without thinking anything about it. The dog starts climbing up a ladder, and I thought that they were going to do what they've done in all the scenes earlier, where they have a man in a dog outfit scale this ladder. But no. They got a real dog to climb a freaking ladder. And I want y'all to know, I am in fact very impressed. When we enter this weird warehouse, we find all of the family's belongings that were stolen at the beginning of this movie. Honestly, when I saw all this stuff, it was like a breath of fresh air, because I was honestly thinking that we were not gonna revisit this plot at all, that all their stuff was gonna get stolen and we were just never gonna talk about it again. But no, it's here, and Slade stole all of the stuff, and he hired those weird thug dudes at the beginning. So while we're in this warehouse, Slade is in there, and there's also like some other random stupid idiots there. And so they're like sneaking around, and while they're sneaking around, they find this tape recorder, and they do that contrived plot thing where they start recording it, and they mention how like, this dog is actually a man, and we're gonna kill him. Then, oh no, they catch the snoot boy in the act, so they decide that they're gonna shoot him with their gun. They convey this pretty subtly in the dialogue.
Shoot him!
The dogs from earlier in the movie, they decided that they're gonna show up. So they manage to get the ring back, and then somehow, like immediately after this, Wilby turns back into his human self. In the warehouse, there's this parked car for some reason. Everybody gets inside of it, and they're driving away, and then for some reason they like hit like a sprinkler, and like vodka sauce like shoots out of the ceiling, and then they like go through like a thing of feathers for some reason. If you're wondering the significance of this, I don't know. The Slade, he goes through a red light, and then for the first time in this movie, the police decide to do their job, and they pull him over.
Officer, District Attorney John Slade is back there. We're on official business.
The real question is, how did Slade become a dog? That's what I don't freaking get. Did Wilby read the inscription? How did that transfer over to Slade? Because all these other characters have been reading the inscription and it's always been Wilby. So why now is it Slade becoming the dog? How did Slade get cursed? We don't know. Did anybody read the inscription on the ring? We don't know. How did the power shift from Wilby to Slade? We don't know. We never find out, and I'm very upset. And everything's fine, and he kisses his wife, even though he had an affair with a poodle.
Big boy.
I felt like there was so much for us to unpack after this, but then I looked, and there were like 20 seconds left in the movie.
Hi.
How you doing, partner? Oh, hi, Elwood. Mr. District Attorney.
We find out that Wilby is the so I guess he won the election. I guess nobody in the town cared that this political figure just turns into a dog sometimes. But the last shot of the frickin' movie is this.
Swing low, sweet child.
And that was the end of the Shaggy Da. One of the weirdest aspects about this movie, and this isn't like a real complaint because I know this movie was made in the 70s, but something so interesting is the fact that in this movie, there is not a black person in sight. There is nobody of any ethnicity besides white, and I know what you're probably thinking. Are you criticizing a movie from the 70s for not having a lot of diversity? And that's not what I'm criticizing. What I'm criticizing is just the general idea that this is a town where it is more likely to come across a political figure who will at any given moment shapeshift into a dog than just to see like a black guy. I am really sorry for making this, and I'm also so sorry that like I came back from a month-long break with this video. No, I'm not sorry.
Swing low, Sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.
Can you please open your mouth? Can you try to yawn or something? Can you yawn? Can you please yawn? Hell yeah. Like, comment, and subscribe. I hated that more than anything I've ever hated in my whole life.